Welcome once again to Emerald Downs Weekly as we talk thoroughbred racing, mostly Emerald Downs, as we continue on in this summer of 2018. Joe Withy, Gary Doherty, and Vince Brune alongside. And as usual, a lot going on in and around the track last week and this week. Fellas, coming up on another weekend, and the Washington Cup beckons this weekend. Gary?
That's right. It's sponsored by ExpressBet. And I guess there's two races Sunday, right? Vince?
Yes, we've got the $50,000 Washington Cup sophomore and with a $50,000 Washington Cup sophomore fillies. The Colts and Geldings is presented by Elysian Brewing, and the soft filly stakes by Freight Northwest. And also this Sunday we got the $30,000 Bank of America Emerald Downs Quarter Horse Challenge, right, our biggest quarter horse race of the week. So a stakes triple header on Sunday.
Yeah, aren't you glad that he said Elysian Brewery rather than you had to say it this time
I like
around?
to drink it. Elysian.
Yes. Elysian Brewing Company sponsoring the 3-year-old Colton Gelding race. We'll preview more the Washington Cup a little bit later in the show. But, hey, it's a weekend at Emerald Downs. Live racing Friday night at 6:30, Saturday at 5 p.m., and Sunday at 2 p.m. And, Gary, we have our regular lineup coming up on a Fab Friday night.
Yeah, we got the Horseshoe Toss. We got Bud and Bud Lights for $2.50. The band will be the Kim Archer Band will come out and play between the races. Should be a fun Friday night. Saturday, first race goes at 5.
You forgot about the Horseshoe Toss.
I mentioned that, I think.
Did you?
Yeah, $1,000 if you threw a ringer.
I missed that.
Rumor is somebody threw a ringer last week.
Yeah.
Saturday night, we'll have the Husky and Cougar alumni bands coming out, as we're 1 week out from the opening of college football. So it'll be fun to have the bands out.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have some of the old alumni from Washington and Wazoo come out. And the Cougars will like this. We have $1 draft beers on Saturday night.
The Cougars like that $1 draft. The Huskies won't turn it down either, I don't think. There's been a little bit of drinking going on that campus. I'm just guessing. Okay, so it is a regular scheduled weekend for that. 6:30 Friday, 5 Saturday, 2 Sunday. And also, we start the Washington Cup, as we mentioned, on Sunday. We're going to split it up over 3 weekends this year. This first weekend with the two 3-year-old races, as we mentioned. And we also have a brew fest on Sunday.
Yeah, over 25 breweries will be out in the park. I believe you can get five 5-ounce drinks for $25. Lots of fun. We'll have a DJ playing music in the park. That's always a fun day, and the weather should be good this Sunday.
Weather has been great in the summer of 18. Lots of fast tracks. And, again, Washington Cup starts this weekend. The ExpressBet Washington Cup at Emerald Downs. And, again, we'll talk a little bit more about that. Saturday, racing at 5 p.m., that's working out pretty nicely here in the summer of 18 as we go till about 8:30. And Husky Cougar stuff going on this Saturday night. Had some good, fun themes this year. And after the races, we always have live music on Saturday.
Yeah, we've got an all-star band this weekend. A bunch of the tribute bands who played all this year. We got some from each of the different bands going to come out and play. It should be a great show, so let everybody know. Come on out. Free show about 8:30 on the 5th floor. Lots of old-school rock and roll. Should be a lot of fun.
Okay. And just backtrack a little bit, can we? To Saturday morning. Breakfast at the Wire continues here at Emerald Downs. In fact, this will be the last breakfast of the Wire for 2018. Every Saturday in July and August. Dean Mazuka on mic there. Yeah, Dean's waving. He sees a camera. He waves and talks, and he does a super job identifying horses out on the track during training. Special guests. There's also a $25 win wager awarded to a prize drawing contestant who is present at Breakfast at the Wire. So bring the family out, see some horses up close, and $7 breakfast options. It's right up by the finish line at Emerald Downs. This will be the final one of the year, and we've had some good crowds for sure at Breakfast at the Wire, and that's sponsored by Toscano's, outstanding Italian restaurant in Sumner, and the coffee is free from Rad Roast of Kent. So Breakfast at the Wire winding up for 2018.
Also, Joe, we got the casino that closes each day at 2 a.m. We've got some smaller minimums, $1 and $3 blackjacks games. So come on out. After races, you can play some blackjack. It was always fun.
Yeah, we rarely close here at Emerald Downs anymore.
Yeah, that's right.
2 a.m. And, again, going backwards a little bit, Friday night coming up, 6:30 start, 7-race card. And all 7 races, included in that jackpot 20-cent pick 7 wager. And Gary keeps close tabs on that, waiting for the big carryovers to jump in. And it's growing a little bit there.
Right, Vince? When was the last big hit for over 20,000 or something?
Just a couple weeks ago. New York George.
We've had a couple real nice carryovers. It's gotten up around 25,000, 30,000 at the meet. So we're building. It'll gather momentum. So Friday's card looks a little bit challenging to me, just taking a preliminary look. So be a lot of fun. Jump on in.
Vince has been our program handicapper for Saturday nights for most of the meetings.
Friday nights.
So, excuse me, Friday nights.
Friday nights.
That's what I meant to say. That's a correction.
The
last segment.
Victor Saturday nights.
Victor the Predictor Cazzetti is the program handicapper for Saturday nights. Vince on Fridays, and we've alternated on Sundays. So keep it up. Updated. You had Archie Graham on top last Friday night, an 8-1 winner.
I did. I've been a little bit of a rut handicapping. It keeps you on your toes when you get those picks in the program. You take a little professional pride in it, and it's been tough around here. I think, the last 3 weeks were under 25% favorites winning, which I personally like. So some good prices here, some good competitive racing. Last week, for example, we had 4 2-year-old races with 34 horses competing, an average of 8.5 a race, which to me, that's outstanding on itself, but it also shows, we got a good future here coming up with a lot of 2-year-olds.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, you don't take credit for a win when you have it in your top 4?
I do not. Absolutely not. To me, for it to be a win, you got to have it on top.
Just checking. Hey, also on Saturday, are you keeping track as we go back and forth? It's a culinary night at Emerald Downs, and we have a theme of Tropic Nights this Saturday night. Call the track, customer service, or the group events at 288-7700, 253-288-7700. And for $67, you get a great deal. It's going to be up in the Shinpo room up on the 5th floor. You get hors d'oeuvres and, of course, the buffet. A 1-drink ticket, and all that other stuff is included as well.
And a great view of the racetrack, too.
You better believe it. And first race at 5 p.m. It's a culinary night this Saturday night at Emerald Downs. Come on out and eat and enjoy the races. So we're going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff, including the WTBOA sale. Stars of Next Year purchased on Tuesday of this week just up the road. We'll be right back on Emerald Downs Weekly. Did you buy anything?
You
were there. Both you guys were.
Outbidded.
Oh, okay. Well, that happens.
I held my hand numerous times, and
you got a bid more than $17.50.
Your group came over one time. You guys bid like $50,000.
Once again, thanks for joining us on Emerald Downs Weekly every Thursday night at 11 p.m. right here on NBC Sports Northwest, and repeated again Friday mornings at 9 a.m. Joe Withey, Gary Doherty, and Vince Brune getting ready for another weekend here at Emerald Downs. Again, the Washington Cup coming up. But, hey, let's take a look back to last week, fellas. Lots of great action on the track. We even had a human race, and we'll cover that as well. But Friday, we started off early on. Let's take a look at race number 3 on Friday here at Emerald Downs. And Royal Privacy is one fast horse as he raced away from So Lucky actually didn't press him on this particular night, Vince. And
no, that was actually Cross Creek who pressed him the whole way, ran a very nice second there. But Royal Privacy, I think what questioned him was he was coming back in 2 weeks off a huge effort, and he might have even run better. But was claimed by Glenn Todd with trainer Sandy Gann out of this race off Manny Ortiz.
Yeah, there's Tim Bankers in the yellow shirt there, who's having a great year as an owner, and Manny Ortiz, as you mentioned. So Royal Privacy, another fast win, Gary. He's kind of hard to go against these days. And also on Friday, a filly who's had a really fine meet for trainer Frank Lucarelli. She picked up another victory, and this one was not in doubt early on.
No, she dropped back.
Curious rumor.
Back down in class here, and she's now had 4 blowout wins at the meet. She's the first 4-time winner at the meet, trained by Frank Lucarelli for Randall and Rossi and Lucarelli. And boy, we got 12 3-times winners. She's the first to win 4. Kevin Orozco continues to ride in just very fine form, and nice filly. She's really had a heck of a season.
Yeah. And the first horse to win 4 races, and we're past mid-August, I think that's behind most years. I'm almost positive it is. We had a lot of 3-time winners several weeks ago, but by now we usually have multiple 4-time winners. So it's I guess the wins are spread out more this year. What do you think, Gary?
I agree. You know, Joe, I could probably do some research and answer that question by next week.
Why don't you take off for about 10 minutes and come back?
It would take more than 10 minutes.
Okay, well, you better stay here then.
Yeah.
Okay, so Curious Rumor, the only 4-time winner at the meeting, and, maybe in the week or two coming up, we'll talk about the claimer of the meeting possibilities, and she certainly is one. We also have that $1,000 horseshoe toss every Friday night at Emerald Downs, free to sign up for. We eventually have 3 tossers, and we had a little excitement down there in the winner's circle last Friday. Yeah,
we always have an honorary steward, and this week we chose Tom Porter from Parking, and he hasn't thrown a horseshoe in years.
Look at that toss.
A dead ringer.
What an athlete.
And it was just an end over end. It was never not a ringer all the way through the air. Tom Porter, our Director of Parking and Maintenance.
Beautiful.
Spot
on. I got
on.
his name right.
You did that now.
I just did.
Yeah. Tom Porter.
We had that one last year, Gary, where you had to make an official ruling. It was very close.
That's right.
But if Tom had been an actual contestant, this was a no-doubter. Like Joe said, it was a ringer from
my.
I would have got $1,000 out of my back pocket and gave him $1,000 bills.
Sweet. Tom didn't get the $1,000 because he's an Emerald Downs employee, and he was the guest celebrity tosser. Then we had 3 tossers after that, and it's always $100 who's ever closest to the stake without a ringer. But, boy, we're going a season in 7/8 without having a ringer here.
Yeah, I think we're down to 15 more tossers, right, Vince? 5 weeks? 5 weeks ago?
Yeah.
5 times 3 is 15.
Fridays,
work on that. That
and
was
after the races, some of us watched the great mare Winks.
Ooh.
She raced at Australia. She won for the 26th time in a row, and she paid, I think, $2.07 to win.
$2.07?
Yeah, or something very.
They pay less than $2.10, huh?
They can, yeah.
Okay. Well,
amazing.
26 in a row is mind-boggling. That is tremendous, to say the least. Okay, our feature race on Friday night was under the lights as, of course, daylight is decreasing a little bit here as we move on to the summer. Let's hear from track announcer Tom Harris on the Friday night feature.
They swing off the turn and head for home. Crushing Candy trying to shake them off. Now with a final furlong to go. Down at the inside, Archie Graham takes aim at the leader now. Middle of the racetrack, Remember to Breathe. Deep stretch they come. Crushing Candy off the rail, but Archie Graham's coming on at the inside. The race to the finish, Archie Graham.
Hey, what a finish that was. Crushing Candy is always super tough to beat. He wins about half his starts or more at Emerald Downs. But Archie Graham got him, Vince, and you know those owners pretty well.
That's right. That's called Archie's Gang. There are 10 people out of the Emerald Racing Club, and they got together and claimed him for $5,000 in his previous start. And, boy, what a great first horse to own for these people on their own. They were just south of the winner's circle. I looked down there, they hit the wire, and they were jumping up and down. And, yeah, that's what it's all about. Unbelievable win. Great ride there again by Kevin Orozco. Made the big move to go inside into the lane, saved all the ground. And you could see Crushing Candy wasn't finished. He was coming back at him at the end. So hats off to a real nice win there for Archie's Gang, Archie Graham, Kevin Orozco, and Larry and Sharon Ross.
That was fantastic for those new owners. Hey, let's move on to Saturday. And speaking of the Emerald Racing Club, of which if you're not a member, you could join next year, and that opportunity will be coming in February and March. And here is a current club member. Look at her coming down the middle of the track, Vince.
Yep, that's a 7-year-old mare, Montana bred, named Zanab, and that's her 3rd win of the meet. All of them almost the exact same way, 10 lengths off the pace. Rallies nicely under Kevin Orozco to get the money. She's a real neat horse. Not too many Montana breds around here.
No.
The gentleman who bred her, she's by Catalfa, a deceased sire. He texts Sharon after every win and says, boy, she was one of our favorites growing up.
Right?
And and she is a real sweetheart of a horse. And he's watching over in Montana. Great story. She's been a lot of fun this year.
You guys did a great job of, the Rosses finding her in Northern Cal, because she is 3 for 4 at Emerald Downs this year. Zanab for the club with a thrilling win once again from off the pace. Hey, the feature race on a Saturday under the lights as well. Let's hear from Tom again.
Bare Minimum picks up ground at the rail now as they round the turn and head for home. Final furlong away. Bare Minimum is now coming on strong. Racing back second, there is that Harbor. Late charge from Winning Bluff, and Winning Bluff is rolling now. 70 yards to go. Bare Minimum. Winning Bluff, Bare Minimum nails it down by a hard-fought half.
Bare Minimum 16-1 coming in. He broke his maiden first out, and then he was beaten pretty soundly. But now he's 2 for 3, and if you're in that group with Dean Mazuka, you have a promising horse going on
and
there.
He's our owner of the week, Dean Mazuka, with those 2 putts for the win. Silks, yeah, 16-1. What a nice win.
I missed that one.
Huge winner circles both
That's
races.
Right.
Sure was.
We pack them in.
Yeah.
Lots of connections.
So Bare Minimum wins the feature on Saturday, and we'll go over Sunday's races and much more coming up on Emerald Downs Weekly. Emerald Downs Weekly right here on NBC Sports Northwest. Talking Emerald Downs racing for 2018 as the miles history, but no lack of excitement on the track and around the track at Emerald Downs. The whole street was busy last week, and again, the Washington Cup starts this weekend. Let's head back to Sunday afternoon, fellas. First race at 2 p.m., and we did raise some money for the Permanently Disabled Jockey Fund, and I think we did pretty well. We'll talk about that in a moment, but let's go to the first race on Sunday. We had some unique conditions for this race, Vince.
Yeah, we're getting late in the meet, so this is for horses that have not finished first, second, or third at the current Emerald Downs meeting, and I believe the claiming price is $3,500. But you know what? I know it's a low condition, but still see those owners and everybody happy in the winner's circle after the race.
Oh, heck yeah. Milady's Secret won it at 6-1. Arviat Bay was second in there. It was a competitive race, and yeah, you want to win a horse race, and a little unique conditions help some owners out whose maybe horses have not hit the winner's circle, struggling a little bit.
We had 7 double-digit payoffs out of 10 races Sunday too, I believe, which shows competitive, tough racing.
Yeah.
No wonder well, anyway, let's go to the 5th race. We had a couple of 2-year-old races, and this 5th race was for colts and geldings, and the horse in the middle of the track there had to go very wide from the, I believe, number 8 post position. Yeah. 9, of course. Number 9, that is Emily's Gold, forced quite wide. This is a first-time starter by Harbor the Gold out of R. Henny Penny, and that was a winning effort because he did race quite wide. Frank Lucarelli trainee, and the Silks of Rev Racing, REV Racing, that is Roy and Ellie Schaefer. Have they had any decent 2-year-olds around here ever?
Wow. You got just off the top of my head, Track Attacker and Mach 1 Rules for starters. And that was a nice win. And Frank's other horse, Mr. Frank, had a wide trip too. Frank has a couple nice 2-year-olds there.
Lucarelli, 5, 6, 7 wide the entire turn.
It was.
You don't win races that way. That's tough to do. Very impressive.
There were 8 first-time starters in there.
Wow.
And Emily's Gold, however, really big effort. The Schaefers and Lucarelli have to be very pleased with that. And a full brother was in the sale on Tuesday as well and sold for quite well, $42,000. And I think a lot of it was off Emily's Gold's effort. Yeah. And how about the 8th race today? We had a nice group of older horse claimers here. And Trill Point is on the lead there. Another horse, Botch, was one of the picked horses. He's being ridden to try and get in there. But look who wins it under Jennifer Whitaker, the Press, who she gets on very often in the morning. That was his first win in a while. You know, and he was a stakes winner here, won the Washington Cup 3-year-old race a couple years ago. Nice horse. You know, he's just been locking horns with some of the real toughies around here. So I would never really say he was off form. He just finally found a field that, you know, he could beat, and he got the right trip, and it was a very convincing win. Nicely done. Yeah, he was a stakes winner at a mile. He beat Mach 1 Rules a couple years ago in the Washington Cup. So he could do the distance, and he's been knocking heads, as Vince said, with some of the top horses on the grounds the last couple of years. So nice win for Howard Belvoir. That's a son of Harbor the Gold, the Press. And where'd that name come from, Vince? Well, it was when me and Jacob Polowitz used to be my assistant, and we would visit Howard's barn, and Howard would go, "Here comes the press." And we'd say, "No, well, we're actually the media. The press is for people who don't work for the track." So in honor of that, he eventually named one the Press. Yeah, turned out pretty well. Stakes winner. Be nice if we got a cut of the earnings, but that never happens. Let's go to the feature race on Sunday. This is a filly and mare sprint, and we'll hear the call.
As they swing off the turn and run for home, Tesla's back at the rail. They straighten away with a final furlong to go. McDove on the lead. Hold That Smile is chasing, but McDove just lengthening that stride. And the Kentucky-bred mare McDove in a runaway late. McDove darts clear by 5 or 6 to win it.
McDove there's Sharon Ross with a handshake to Esjuan Flores, the jockey, and Vince, yet another former Emerald Racing Club horse.
That's right. That's Fat Cat Racing. On the back of the Silks is Solo, the kind of hefty cat that hangs around the Ross barn, very popular. Wayne Campbell leads that syndicate. And there's 7 members of Fat Cat Racing were also part of Archie's gang and Zanab. So as
nice.
Tony Flores said, one of those members, he goes, I won the Triple Crown last weekend in Emerald Downs, and he did.
What a week it was. Was the Trifecta King on the Ross barn last weekend at all?
Boy, no. Well, maybe for first, but couldn't get all 3 in the right spots. But I heard Vince did a little bet, and he might have done okay over the weekend.
Yeah, they the barn has really done a great job all year. And last week, 5-1, 5-1, 8-1. The other horse they had, Seattle Smoke, did everything but win, got beat ahead. So they're all firing good right there. I kind of believe in that angle. I don't know about you, Joe, Gary, but when you see a barn getting on a roll, sometimes it's good to get on board.
Yeah, betting rank's going to go up.
Just not just horses on the track on Sunday. Let's go to a special fundraising race. The Emerald Downs jockeys in a foot race to help with the PDJF on Sunday, Gary.
That's correct. We had 11 go. Rocco Bowen started the race, and we had one heck of a finish here, Vince.
That's Patrick Henry.
I couldn't call it from the 6th floor.
Yep.
Patrick Henry.
Alex and I on the outside making a big ground late.
Big long stride there, yeah.
And Patrick kind of stumbles across the water.
Hey, look at that. I love the competitiveness there from Patrick.
Patrick, a Jamaican sprinter in his former days. And Alex and
I. That's a dead heat.
Alex, someone mentioned last week, was shortening up from a mile, too, because he was the fastest and run the mile, right?
That's correct. He went from route to sprint. And
look at, here's Patrick once again, just trying to get to that wire as he feels the pressure of Alex and I. And we had an official dead heat on that race, so they each shared in the $1,000 contribution
each one
for
will
the
get
jockeys
one of these trophies
to the PDJF. So we raised some money for the PDJF, and helping out immensely was Connie Dahl. We'll talk about her in the next segment. But Gary,
we had Kaylee and Megan go out throughout the racetrack with a boot, and they raised over $1,500 on Sunday. That was fantastic.
A couple of good choices there to go raise some money.
Yeah, they had fun, and they did a good job. They got out and talked to people, and like I said, $1,500. And Connie raised a bunch of money, over $2,500 with a bunch of Jockey Silks memorabilia, so that was fantastic. We also had some prints come down from Sharon Peck from All-Breed Equine Rescue, and that raised over $1,000. In fact, Joe, you bought something?
Yeah, as well as you did.
Yeah, I picked up something too.
And after we hear from Connie and her great work, boy, she made some very unique items to help her fellow riders, permanently disabled riders and their families around the country in North America. We'll take a short time out and come back and talk more Emerald Downs and Thoroughbred Racing on Emerald Downs Weekly. Emerald Downs Weekly continues right here on NBC Sports Northwest. Joe Withey, Gary Doherty, Vince Brune. Talking Emerald Downs. Thanks for joining us. 3 days of racing this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Once again, 6:30, 5 p.m. on Saturday, 2 p.m. on Sunday. And, again, last weekend, the PDJF, the Permanently Disabled Jockey Fund, in effect, in force big at Emerald Downs. We postponed ours a few weeks to give it a little better placement, didn't we?
It was a little warm. We thought it was over 90s that day, and we thought let's come back next month and do it. Still do it, and we did, and we had a great time. And Connie Dahl really stepped it up, and I think we have an interview with Connie here.
Yeah, Connie had a unique presentation to raise money for the PDJF. Let's hear from her.
Well, we're having the Permanently Disabled Jockey Fund to raise money for, currently we have 60 riders that are permanently disabled paralyzed or brain trauma. And so usually I run around to the grandstands after a race, but I'm hurt this year. So this year I put together pictures, one-of-a-kind memorabilia to raise money for these people, because a lot of them get hurt when they're really young, and so they don't have a lot of Social Security, and they only make $1,000 a month, other than whatever they have for Social Security. So I'm doing my part and trying to get people to contribute. We're having a silent auction. I put all these pictures together with original pants that have won races from jockeys from here and past jockeys that have rode at Long Acres. And Mike Smith was so kind to send me 2 pieces as well. And so I'm hoping to raise around $300 or $3,000, sorry. And I'm getting close.
Well, Connie did some fantastic work framing those jockey pants, signed, and lots of photographs as well. All the Emerald Downs jockeys represented, also Gary Bays and Vicky Bays, members of our Washington Thoroughbred Hall of Fame. And how about Vince? How about Mike Smith stepping up? He's pretty darn good at these causes, isn't he?
He sure is, yeah. He never forgets his roots either, and his fellow riders. And that item was outstanding. I mean, I thought about bidding on it myself, but there was no way I would get it. Just a beautiful picture of Justify,
right? Beautifully
framed, and just an outstanding thing. And what can you say about Connie Dahl? I mean, boy, there's a gal who really has a lot of heart and soul in this game, and I really applaud her efforts.
Yeah, right. She did. She hasn't been riding for a while. She's still recuperating from a morning training accident, but Connie has ridden, it's about 43 years now in Washington and all around the Northwest. If you'd like to know more about Connie's career, you can go to YouTube and type in Emerald Downs Connie Dahl, and there's a video story on her as we commemorated her 40th year of being a jockey. Well, the Washington Cup starts this weekend.
Let's give a final total of the PDJF on that Sunday. We raised, the jockeys ran the jockey foot race. Emerald Downs gave $1,000 for that. We also had the jockeys sign a bunch of saddle cloths that we sold, made about $500 with Connie and Sharon Peck. Donating 6 photos and all the cash donations throughout Emerald Downs. We raised just over $10,000.
That is fantastic.
Pretty strong number.
It is.
Yep.
And it was $2,800 in
year before
2017. So we really upped that due to all those efforts. Great work for disabled riders and their families across North America, of course, of which Diego Sanchez is one, injured couple years ago here at Emerald Downs, and we did see him recently. He's doing great, but he is in a wheelchair. It's a fact of life. So helping out those was a fantastic cause, and the Emerald Downs community did very well. And let's turn to the Washington Cup again this year. 2 races, 3 successive Sundays. And the first one of the 2 races is the Elysian Brewing Company 3-year-old Colts and Geldings race, and we did have 11 nominees in this race, Vince.
Yeah, and I think the big names on that list, well, of course, Joe, you know one of them. You're involved with the ownership there on Sip and Fire, and he's a triple stakes winner at the meet. We take entries for both these 3-year-old races tomorrow. Sounds like you guys are going to go, and if you do, of course, you'll be a heavy favorite in there. The 2 bays, Boundary Bay, he ran 3rd in the first 3-year-old stakes at the meet. And Elliott Bay, our last year's Gottstein winner, he's held pretty good form throughout the meet. I think those would be the 3 top ones. Interesting horse, Sherm, on the stretch out. He's a maiden, though, so it'd be a big step up in class. But, anxious to watch Sip and Fire again.
Okay, Sip and Fire is the clear leader of the division, but no shortage of competition against him. Here's the Muckleshoot Derby from the end of July.
The Derby.
And Weekend Wizard is out in front, the shipper from Canada. He changes his leads after a hot pace and tries to go on, and Sip and Fire is going to run him down under Rocco Bowen. Steve Bullock has started 6 stakes runners at Emerald Downs this year, 4 wins and a third. Sip and Fire responsible for 3 of those wins.
I'd say right now, that's along with the Long Acres Mile, the 2 races of the meet. That battle between Sip and Fire and Weekend Wizard, every time I watch it, I think, wow, there was 2 horses that really threw it down big time there.
Now, Joe, you got 3 or 4 more days where you guys could make an audible and go run in Canada in the BC Derby.
It's a democracy. There's 6 owners.
And Vince, didn't you write a release called the Northwest Triple?
That's right. If you win the Muckleshoot Derby in the BC Derby, and then our new Getaway Stakes on closing day, September 23rd. That's a $100,000 bonus.
You buy pizza.
But, it's, like Joe said, it's a democracy, and they voted, and
wherever it is, they're staying in the
whichever way
States.
they go, I understand. I think it's a spacing deal mainly, Joe, with the timing of the races.
That has something to do with it, being the home court. Hey, let's take a look at the nominees for the Freight Northwest 3-year-old filly Express Bet Washington Cup Stakes race. And we have a few less than the Colts and Geldings, but we've had 4 different stakes winners in the 3-year-old filly division, Vince.
Yeah, and we were just talking about this division. Bella Mia, you got to admire what she's done this year. In addition to winning the Kent Stakes, she's finished second or third in the 3 other 3-year-old filly stakes, and she's got 5 stakes wins here at Emerald Downs, 4 stakes wins, and has been an outstanding horse here for Blaine Wright and the Marianskis. I think she'll be a pretty short price because she has proven she can route, which was suspect at the start of the year. Brilliant Burn, owned by Ron Crockett, trained by Terry Gillihan, comes off a really, really sharp allowance win. Anxious to see what she could do on the stretch out.
Yeah, the Brilliant Bird, very sharp and stretching out, as you mentioned. So Bella Mia, last year's state champion juvenile filly. She also had a sister in the sale on Tuesday, but she has been really strong. I'm a Happy Cat won the first stake. Bella Mia came right back and outran her, pulled away from her here in the, is that the Seattle?
I think that's the Kent.
That's the Kent.
Yeah.
Okay, we are going to have Bella Mia take us to break. We are going to come back with more Emerald Downs Weekly right here on NBC Sports Northwest.
That beer fest is going to be fun on Sunday, too.
Okay.
Should we try all the
Are you
different
partaking?
beers? Yep.
Is there a thing where you can try all 25 of them?
Phil says make the glasses half of a half.
Thanks for joining us on Emerald Downs Weekly. And, some great racing to recap last week. And we're looking forward to the Washington Cup, the Brew Fest on Sunday. But that's after a Fab Friday night. And live racing on Saturday, along with the culinary night and music afterwards. Clubhouse Casino, once again, open until 2 a.m. 7 days a week.
That's correct.
Hey, the annual summer sale just happened this week at Emerald Downs on Tuesday, and of course, Stars of the Future looking to be purchased by bid, and we sold about 100 horses at the WTBOA summer sale, and hip number 68 was the topper. He went for $85,000. Will Brewer, agent, signed for that, and that is a full brother to Del Rio Harbor, could have been the whiskey, and also this year's 3-year-old star, Sippin' Fire. Full brother, Vince, Harbor the Gold out of Bahati.
Yeah, you just can't go wrong there. I mean, you talk about a horse tailor-made to run at Emerald Downs. Harbor the Gold, 60 stakes wins. I think 34 different stakes winners, they said. You mentioned all the great progeny, and on top of that, a gorgeous individual. Yeah. I mean, you add it all up, and I just think it's a slam dunk. And I was seated behind the winning bidders yesterday. I know they were ecstatic to get the horse, and I congratulate him. I would be surprised if he doesn't do some good things around here.
That has been a heck of a cross, bred by Barcy Racing of Pam and Neil Christofferson, Hermiston, Oregon, where they stand Harbor the Gold. They've done well with him. Many Harbor the Gold sold well.
I think we're very lucky to have Harbor the Gold in this area. He's been fantastic for Emerald Downs.
Dialed in Night Raider went for $57,000 to Tim Bankers. A Girolamo filly out of Courtroom Charmer was purchased by Ron Crockett for $55,000. A Harbor the Gold Ridgeling out of R. Henny Penny, again that full sister to Emily's Gold. That went for $42,000 to Keith Swaggerty, and then a Colt by Abrage out of Brown went for $37,000. So all the results available at the WTBOA.com.
Okay, how many did you guys buy?
Our ownership group, How We Roll, purchased 3.
3, okay.
Harbor the Gold Colt, a Tapiture filly, and a Colt by Abrage. So we're looking forward to getting those in the Steve Bullock barn. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. Replenishing a little bit. Okay, hey, we need to talk about the Hall of Fame, and that ceremony is going to be on Sunday, September 9th, before the first race, and that'll be the third and final Sunday of the Washington Cup. And Vince, the votes have been tallied, and you put out a release on the winners and the new inductees into the Hall of Fame.
We did. We got 5 winners, and the trainer this year is Doris Harwood, 67 stakes win at Emerald Downs, #1 all-time, trained one of the best horses in track history. Right.
Let's take a look at that horse right now. We
Yeah.
have video for Doris, and of course she bred, along with her husband Jeff, the great Noosa Beach, winner of the 2010 Long Acres Mile. We might have, might not. There he is, Noosa
yeah.
Beach. And who's that running second right there?
That's Jersey Town.
Yeah.
I believe ended up winning a Grade 1 later that year.
Yeah.
Back in New York, and Noosa Beach responsible for 10 of those stakes wins, and he was about as money as they got around here for a couple of years.
Oh my gosh, Gary, did you ever pick him in the Seattle Times when you were public handicapping?
Yep, I did.
I bet you did.
You know, and didn't hurt having Ricky Frazier sitting at the top either.
Ricky already in the Washington Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Noosa Beach was tremendous. Vince, you want to continue with the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, jockey is another very familiar face at Emerald Downs, Juan Gutierrez, you know, and for 16 straight years in the top 5 in the jockey standings, which is an amazing stat. 1,320 career wins at Emerald Downs, ranks #2 only to Booger Mitchell, who's in the Hall of Fame, and Juan, a 2-times Long Acres Mile winner.
And here he comes, coming up the inside, one off the rail. He's got Quiet Cash to beat now, and this is 60-1, no giveaway in the 2005 Long Acres Mile. Yes, Juan was still fairly new in his Emerald Downs career, and that was just such a memorable win for breeder owner Herman Sarkowski. And Juan, of course, added the 2007 mile aboard the Great Face. He is well deserving of Hall of Fame status. And then moving on.
Yeah, we got the horse this year is a horse called Mustard Plaster, who was famous Washington bred from the early 60s. Maybe his greatest win, the 1964 Californian Stakes, where he beat a horse called Kelso, who we're all familiar with and thoroughbred racing.
5-time horse of the year.
5-time horse of the year.
5 times.
They run 5 years back.
Think about that, yeah. And then when he retired, Mustard Plaster was the leading Washington bred earner at that time in 1967. So a real great addition to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and then the breeder this year is the Penny family, and that goes back through several generations.
That's 3 generations of kind of a racing dynasty here in the state of Washington.
Right.
I think between the 3, they've homebred 7 state champions. So that's pretty remarkable, and their legacy continues on to this day.
And we've had some upsets in the mile, including Ed Nader in 2000 at over 40-1 under Galen Mitchell, his first Long Acres Mile win. And, of course, that helped him get into the Hall of Fame.
That's correct.
You bet.
And Jim Penny won the mile, 5 times?
Correct. 3 times at Emerald Downs, 5 times overall. Yeah, Hall of Fame. All Hall of Fame there with Mitchell, Penny, and now the Penny family.
Don't the Pennies go back to 1933? The first year of...
Yes.
Jim's grandfather, A.E. Penny,
Penny.
trained that first season, 1933.
And then our final inductee this year will be a gentleman named Dr. George Tadaro, who, on top of being one of the original Emerald Downs investor, one of the most successful owners in West Coast racing history, when you add it all up.
Indeed.
And also an amazingly accomplished doctor, and that'll be a neat video tribute when we do that.
Yeah.
And Dr. George Tadaro, just enormously successful in all facets of his life. Just an astonishingly talented man.
Diamonds are one of his stakes winners.
Bob
at Emerald Downs
Capoletti
this year.
Bob Capoletti, longtime stable manager for
you bet.
Richard.
George won the Kentucky Oaks Pike Place Dancer and was part owner of Shared Belief, who was beating California Chrome fairly easily when California Chrome was considered one of the top horses in the world. How about trivia? Last week's question, who's the only horse to run first, second, and third in the Long Acres Mile? Gary knew that answer.
Noosa Beach.
No, you had it right last week. Now you've got it wrong.
Awesome Jim.
He ran
Awesome
first
Jim.
and second. Yeah.
Awesome Gem is the only horse to finish first, second, and third. And Jesse Pinkman, I think that is okay.
You know
he
what?
won it, I guess.
I'm rooting for Alert Bay to come back next year, because if he were to win it, he could get first, second, third, and fourth.
There you go.
Because he's run second, third, and fourth.
That's right.
What's the question for next week?
This week's question is, name the only horse who has won 3 Washington Cup races. 3-time winner of the Washington Cup. There's only one horse. Send your answers to trivia@emeralddowns.com. You'll be recognized on the show and get a nice day for two at the track. We'll be right back with our final segment on Emerald Downs Weekly. Don't blurt out the answer.
I'm thinking about it.
He doesn't know this one. Okay, we got a decent question.
Larry Wilforce?
Might be too hard.
Larry Wilforce.
Thanks for joining us once again on Emerald Downs Weekly every Thursday night at 11 p.m. and once again replayed Friday mornings at 9 a.m.
That's important, Joe.
Yeah.
9 o'clock.
That's a better time for you?
For
You're
some.
kind of a night owl.
No, I'm an 11 o'clock guy, but
how would I know?
There's people like that morning.
Have you recovered from your run the mile? Fully recovered?
Fully
Good.
recovered.
Good to hear. As we did go over this year's Hall of Fame inductees, congratulations once again to Lifetime Achievement winner Dr. George Tadaro, trainer Doris Harwood, jockey Juan Gutierrez, breeder the Penny family, and the horse Mustard Plaster, a great horse from the 60s. That ceremony once again before the races on Sunday, September 9th, the final Sunday of Washington Cup competition. So, Hall of Fame decided. A lot of new homes for young horses. Half or full brother to Sip and Fire, a half to Bellamia, purchased at the WTBOA sale on Tuesday. And again, coming up this weekend at Emerald Downs, once again, Gary, Fab Friday night at 6:30.
Yes.
Beverage specials.
$250 Bud and Bud Lights, $1,000 horseshoe toss. Make sure to sign up. We'll draw out 6 names. 3 will throw for $1,000. Kim Archer playing between the races. Saturday is a big Cougar Husky alumni night. The bands will come out, play some songs, maybe a little tequila from the Husky band. Live music after the races by an all-star tribute band that plays a lot of music around the Northwest, songs from the 80s and 90s. That should be fun. So can't wait.
Yep, and let's go stop on Friday night for just a sec. 6:30 start. Friday night at Emerald Downs, we have a jackpot 20-cent pick 7 carryover, and that is a little over $10,000. Yeah, there it is. That'll start right off in the first race Friday night at Emerald Downs, and that's going to keep growing. The higher that carryover grows, the more money that is put in each night. So look for that to be lively. And I'm going to go to the third race on Friday night. I'm going to go to a 2-year-old filly sprint at 5.5 furlongs. I'm going to take second-time starter Sadie Sue. Sadie Sue is my selection. She's 9-2 morning line. She really didn't show much at all in her debut at 15,000, but you guys know, we stress that second-time starters can turn things around, especially when they come back with a nice workout, which she did for Terry Gillihan. She's a daughter of 613, and the female family's good. That doesn't mean quite as much after they've run, but I'm just banking on the fact that she's going to run a little better. She had the 2-post in her debut. She moves further outside to post, I think she's number 6 or 7. So I'm going Sadie Sue on Friday night, 9-2 morning line. Vince, how about you?
Yeah, you never have to talk me into a second-time starter, Joe. I like all the angles you just said. I'll go to race 6, and I'm going to qualify this pick. If Serbian Cyclone and Capital Expense both start, it's going to be a pace meltdown. Those two are extremely fast. Capital Expense is a really, really, really fast sprinter.
Yes, he is.
And Serbian Cyclone only has one way to go. If those two both go in the race, then I think Mixo gets the win, and I'd put him over Iron Robin and Exacta. Those both two are going to be coming late.
Okay.
That's the Ross Barn angle again.
Yeah, and Mixo's had a heck of a season. He's fired in every start. And Iron Rob's kind of flown under the radar here. He's had a couple very nice wins at the higher claiming level this year, too.
Gary's just starting his Friday night handicapping, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Not really. No, you have a selection too, don't you?
What's the odds of a horse drawing the inside rail 4 straight times and getting it a 5th straight time?
Really? Is
that right?
Kalex, okay.
He's drawn the rail 5 times.
But, he's a router, so that's actually a pretty good thing.
I love to have inside speed. So that's my pick. Kalex dropping down in class. He's won 2 of his last 4 starts. Gate to wire from the rail in the first race of the weekend.
Okay, get it started on Friday night with
Always
Kalex.
Like Kalex, yeah.
Yeah, he's an 8-time winner at this track. Loves the distance. Okay, and then again Saturday, we talked a little bit about that. Breakfast at the Wire at 8 a.m., the final edition this year. First race at 5 p.m. at Emerald Downs on Saturdays. And we are going to have a culinary night. Once again, you can, for $67, you get swank seating up there on the 5th floor. You get a great tropical night theme meal with hors d'oeuvres, a drink ticket, seating as well, and a great view of the races. So check out emeralddowns.com or call group sales 253-288-7700, 288-7700 if you'd like to partake in that. Live music afterwards on Saturday nights always. That's working out pretty good, isn't it?
It is. We've had some good music, and people know about it. And once the races get over, just come up, get a cold cocktail, and we'll have music for about 3 hours.
3 hours on Saturday nights at Emerald Downs, and Sunday the Washington Cup begins. The Express Bet Washington Cup with the Elysian Brewing Company Colts and Geldings race, and also the Freight Northwest 3-year-old fillies race, both those at 1 mile. Washington Breds and Washington Brews on Sunday at Emerald Downs. And Vince, there's a quarter horse race as well.
That is it. The Bank of America Emerald Downs Quarter Horse Challenge, 440 yards, which is kind of the classic distance for quarter horses. We've had some good luck with quarter horses in our state. B.H. Lisa's Boy is still one of the top older quarter horses in Southern California, and the all-time Washington bred earning horse of any kind. He's a Dash of Fire owned by the Manili family of Kent. Just recently won at Los Allegan and is now over $2.2 million in earnings, the Washington bred.
That is fantastic. And Sorelli won the Bank of America Challenge Championship a couple years ago, and owners Kelly Dugan and Tim Floyd report that she has a couple of foals on the ground, some speedsters coming up in the quarter horses.
Sorelli.
In the future here at Emerald
Labor
Downs.
Day. Yep. Labor Day. Sorelli.
I know why you like Sorelli running, Gary.
Thanks for joining us, guys, and on to racing at Emerald Downs.
Yes.
You want to talk about food? Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Sorelli Pizza's going to have a...
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Gary wants Sorelli to run so he gets some free
44th
pizza.
Avenue and Mount Lake Terrace.
That's
Sorelli's
right.
Pizza.
Try the pepperoni.
Great place.
It's really
Good
good
pie.
stuff. He brought some in a few weeks ago. It was excellent.